Sixto. There could not be a better name.
I love the names on this team. They have Sixto Sanchez, and they have my favorite name probably in baseball right now, Jazz Chisholm.
To win a championship, not only do you need great players on the court, but you need good chemistry, which takes time to develop.
It's weird how the dynamic works between sports. But
showing emotion in baseball is terrible and should never be in the game.
Blame Luke Walton for that. They have a lot of young players that I believe can really excel in this league.
Corey Perry will give some veteran presence to the Canadians and to just help give some insights on what he did last year.
Justin Fields is a all-time talent, and we definitely need to take into consideration his health.
This was a trade that the Senators really hope would work out, as Matt Murray has won the Cup 2 times.
Even though this is Mr. Irrelevant, he may be Mr. Playing Time after this season's over.
It's just amazing, and I don't care what the Red Sox got for trading Mookie Betts and David Price. The Dodgers, in my opinion, win it. I don't have to see what players they gave up.
Charlie McAvoy is, I think, a Norris contender, a top 5 Norris contender this year.
When Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones make jokes about not valuing the safety position, well, we can make jokes about you not being in Super Bowl for 20-something years, but
I feel like Luka will take that next step, and if he can get a 3 ball consistently around 35%, I feel like they could become a contender.
This goes to show the offense for the Dallas Stars could not keep up, and when the defense needed to step up, the Lightning's offense just overpowered them.
Yeah, I was impressed by their game. Braden Point, Andre Palat, Nikita Kucherov, that was the best line in the playoffs, no doubt.
What's up, everyone? This is Justin Goldman from the Goalie Guild and Lift the Mask, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. We're going to be talking about the draft again, and we're going to say the top 5 most surprising things that happened on draft night, or just the draft in general. So we'll go 5 through 1. Austin, you will go first.
So yeah, the 5th most surprising pick in this draft, I would say, is Jameson Williams, or James Williams. I don't really know how he pronounces it. I'm just gonna say Jameson Williams at number 12 by the Lions, and it's surprising because I did not think the Lions would trade up, and this really shows, I think, that they believe in Jared Goff. They're going to go get him that talent now for the chance of having a season where they may contend for a playoff spot. I know that seems crazy, especially since they're the Lions, but I think if they can get that offense going, I trust their defense to not give up a crazy amount of huge plays, and players are going to get back and healthy. So I would say the 5th most surprising is Jameson Williams at number 12 in the first round. This surprising doesn't necessarily mean bad or good. It just means what shocked us the most. So what's your number 5?
Well, number 5 is, the surprising thing is you and I agree on our number 5 for most surprising thing. I have the Lions training to get a wide receiver, and it being Jameson Williams from Alabama, because I didn't expect them to get a wide receiver and to trade up for one. Like, it's a great move because of like what you said. And even if Jared Goff is not your QB of the future, you don't know, or you don't have to figure it out right now. You're not at the spot where QB is being a major difference in your win and losses. To me, like, you should consider QB is when, like, you want to go far in the playoffs. But where the Lions are at, where you just need good players, you have a QB that's, like, he's not terrible, but he's also not the best or good. We can discuss Jared Goff later, but you get a nice player in Jameson Williams to develop, and the track record with Alabama wide receivers is great. So many wide receivers come out of Alabama, and they are incredible talents in the NFL, and I think Jameson Williams will do the same thing. The surprising thing was he's picked at 12, and the Lions are the team that went to grab him and to trade up because they were at 32. They had already picked at 2. So that's my number 5. I'll go into 4. The Seahawks did not take a QB. I don't think they took a QB at all in the draft.
I think they may have taken one extremely late. I don't
Okay.
remember. I'm gonna check like around 6 while you talk.
Okay. Yeah, so with that, I was surprised in the second round when Malik Willis was still on the board. The Seahawks did not draft him. They also didn't draft Ritter in the third or Willis in the third. It while I think Drew Lock should be given a chance, I understand that drafting a QB to compete with Drew Lock and possibly beat out Drew Lock would not be a bad decision. Drew Lock, I think, has had chances, and I hope he does well, but he probably won't. I was just surprised the Seahawks were standing pat and not adding another QB to their depth chart, especially with the higher picks, like first, second, and third, with Malik Willis on the board. Especially, I wouldn't have taken Willis with the first, but I wouldn't have been surprised. But when he was there in the second and the third round, that was my fourth most surprising thing.
Yeah, I checked rounds 5 through 7, and they did not take it. So my number 4 is Cole Strange going to at 29 to the Patriots. It was a strange pick, if you do say so. I was not expecting them to pick him up, but again, there's a lot of weird picks or quote unquote weird picks that the Patriots have made before, but that doesn't necessarily mean bad. A lot of people have questioned moves that the Patriots have made, but we can't really judge this pick until he plays. So we can't say, oh, why did he go that high? He's going to suck because we haven't seen him play, and maybe he is worth the 29th pick in the draft. Just right now, it seemed extremely surprising considering where a lot of analysts had him before the draft.
Oh yeah, and like we won't know until like they all play out, and like we'll go, that guy's just stealing the draft. But it kind of takes the fun out of like reviewing the mock drafts, reviewing the draft. But my third surprising thing, or we'll get to the fourth. I do agree it was strange seeing that, but they did need a guard, and Bill Belichick is a great coach. He has struggled in the draft though, out the past few years. Like he's hit on some picks, but there are some just picks where he completely whiffed. Like wide receivers, he's not good at drafting really wide receivers, but he's good at signing them after a few years in the NFL. So we'll have to see how Strange turns out. But I think we can move on to number 3. I'll let you go first.
So this one I know you're not going to have on your board. Pick 244 in round 7. A guy named Christian Matthew out of Valdosta State. That is an FCS team, or I think it may be even a D2 team. And he's a DB out of there. The reason is after the draft, not only does not have a picture on NFL.com. So during the draft, they did a ton of players. They did their mock and all that other stuff. He has no picture, no pre-draft report, none of that. And he only has 900 or so followers on Instagram. So he is not known by anyone. And somehow he was drafted. And there was no draft report. I tried to find multiple draft reports on this guy pre-draft. Obviously, there's going to be some reports now that they drafted him because it now matters. But he came out of nowhere, and sometimes that's all that matters. The only reason I found out that was his page is because he put it on his story. He didn't even post about it. So I found that very surprising that a guy like that who can go so under the radar that there was no mention of him pre-draft can get drafted.
Yeah, that is not on my list, but that is I'm surprised I didn't hear about that with the no picture. But my number 3 is the Washington Commanders took a QB, and that was QB Sam Howell with the first pick in the 5th round, 144 overall. I'm surprised that they drafted a QB when they had already invested some capital in Carson Wentz. It's not a bad decision. It's just I thought it's surprising because you still have Heineke. Fitzpatrick may still be on contract, don't know. And then you have Wentz, and now you're adding in a rookie QB in a draft that a lot of people criticize for lack of QBs, like quality QBs that can start. So seeing them take Sam Howell, who I'm not a huge fan of anyway, is just surprising to me, and that's why it's my third thing, because you're gonna add another QB to already a crowded QB room. What do you
Yeah,
think?
Yeah, there's basically 4 guys in the QB room. So we've seen it happen before. Obviously, Tom Brady was the 4th one in his QB room for a while, and then they eventually kept 3 guys on the roster so that they could keep Brady. Maybe Sam Howell is the Brady. We will never know until he finally gets a chance, but I do agree it's a very weird pick considering the players they have.
Yeah. So now we'll go to 2. I'm staying on QB. Malik Willis being drafted by the Titans in the 3rd round. I'm surprised the Titans drafted a QB and that it was in the 3rd round and it was Malik Willis. Malik Willis has a lot of upside. He can get well, he's not going to be tutored by Tannehill because Tannehill said it's not his job to mentor him. But he'll have time to develop. It was just, I didn't think Titans were really in the market for a QB, and them deciding to draft one really shocked me.
Yeah, I totally feel that, and the crazy thing is that's my number 2 as well. Malik Willis going
Oh,
to the Titans. It was surprising. I wanted to put one of those 3rd round QBs here, and I didn't know which one between Ritter and Willis, but I ended up going with Willis because I believed that he had a lot more upside. So I think that it was a lot less likely that the Titans were going to take him, and the fact that they already have Ryan Tannehill, I think, also compounds that, especially with certain teams needing a QB and not picking him up.
yeah, I agree. So now I'll let you say your number 1 first.
So my number 1, Bailey Zappi, chosen at round 4, pick 137, broke the passing touchdown record for D1 football from Joe Burrow. He threw 62 touchdowns last year, was chosen by the Patriots. The Patriots take a QB, and I did not expect that, especially in round 4. They saw him, and they really did trust that he was going to be a premier prospect. And while I saw a lot of people going after him, I think that was another guy that the Seahawks or another one of those teams that needed a QB could have gotten. He has a lot of upside, and while he can't play now, he could play in the future. And whether this is the Jimmy Garoppolo to the Brady of Mac Jones or vice versa, I don't really know. But if Mac Jones struggles this year, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some Bailey Zappi. I really like his prospect uh, abilities, and I think it would be very interesting to see him play, especially for a team that drafted the QB last year.
Yeah, it was surprising. Maybe they just want QB depth when there are other needs they could fix. But we'll have to see how it turns out. My number 1 is Marquise Brown. It's Marquise. No. Is it Marquise Brown?
Yeah. If you're talking
Okay.
about the wide receiver for the
Yeah,
Ravens,
wide
that's
receiver.
now, yeah.
Yeah. I want to make sure. I just having a brain fart. Marquise Brown being traded from the Ravens to the Cardinals. Well, AJ Brown trade was shocking, but like I know there was like rumors of like Brown unhappy and he wanted a new contract in Tennessee and they just didn't want to give it to him, so they traded him. But this was not on, I don't think, anyone's radar till they announced like, yeah, Marquise Brown has been traded to the Ravens, from the Ravens to the Cardinals. That it surprised me so much. And then the Ravens didn't take a wide receiver, but I just can't believe Marquise Brown was even on the trade list for the Ravens. I thought he would stay a Raven for a long time, but he's not. And now the Cardinals add another wide receiver to um to a great wide receiver, and they pair him up with Kyler Murray. It just, that is the most surprising thing to me that happened this draft. Marquise Brown being traded in the 1st round for a 1st round pick, it just blew my mind.
Yeah, I agree that was a surprising trade, but I feel like everything on my list was more surprising. So
Well, yeah, that's why we got different lists. Let us know what you thought, and let us know if we forgot anything and you wanted us to add something. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.